Good afternoon, it's Quant Trade Edge, and today I wanted to take a deeper look into Tesla. Tesla had a very large gap up today on some positive news related to China, and right away we could tell that this was gapping up well more than one straddle. It was even more than two straddles, and that typically means that it's going to have continuation in the direction of the breakout. So here's a little trick. On earnings, you can tell that it gapped up here and left these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, left them as an island. And then here we're getting another gap up that's leaving this entire area as an island. And the significance of an island is it's almost as if it doesn't exist on a chart. So, imagine came down here and we were just here, like this whole thing is being, anyone who bought and sold in here, they're being invalidated by this gap up. So knowing that we were gapping above this level here, 188, 186.72, or look at the close, 188, then that means that we're getting back into the action of this bar right here. So before the open, that is March 4th. I went back to March 4th to look for significant levels on the intraday chart. If you look at the daily chart that we had on March 4th, it was pretty much straight down. So it doesn't give us a whole lot of data points to go from. So I pulled up a 5-minute chart of March 4th. There we go, this was that day. And you can tell the significant levels. So, here we have the open. Oops. And then here is a level, it's the first 15-minute low, but what's significant here is there's a little bit of a bounce attempt. And then, as we come back down, there are a few more bounce attempts. I mean, that's kind of a bounce attempt, but, it's already pretty close to that one. There's a bounce attempt. Here's a bounce attempt. Here was the final bounce attempt that failed. So these are relatively significant levels. There's not a lot of swings this day. It was pretty much kind of a meltdown. And typically when there's a meltdown, you can go right through it. There's not a lot of volume nodes built up. It trended the whole day, and that's more of what would make today want to go straight back up through that. So if we get back to today's action, could even drop it down to a 1-minute chart and just look at it on the whole, and you can see how, this line is exactly where we opened. We dipped below, went above. I wonder if that point from the previous gap mattered. There you go, this one. Yeah, okay, well, that ended up being our low of day. So you remember I had this long line. So basically, one of those lines called the open, one of those lines called the low of day. Resistance, resistance, consolidation, resistance, support, high of day. All of these key structural points were called by the intraday levels of March 4th. So that's just good for guidance. What was the actual trade? Well, the trade today was simple, right? The concept is Tesla was gapping up so much that we expect continuation higher. So when we opened, we're looking for an ABC structure. That is a secure place from which to take your long attempt. And we got that ABC structure on the 1 minute right here. Oops, I need to change the line. Oops. Needed to be a line segment. There you go. A, B, C. And that made this risk bar right here, which is 88 cents wide. You know, it did come back in and gut check down here, but it did not get below that. And to the high of day, this was 15 times your risk. You know, I think I got out at this level here because this was kind of a significant line and I was feeling greedy already. Wish I held it all the way here, but either way, you see the concept here. The concept is, one, given the gap as big as it was, we expected continuation. Concept two, given where we were in the overall chart, this day here, March 4th, was our reference point. Concept three is, on that day, go look at the significant levels on an intraday chart, in this case a 5-minute chart. We found the open, we found the 15-minute low which caused this bounce, we found subsequent bounces, and then really the gap here, the high of day, the day after, ended up being significant as well. So that's the third leg of the concepts that we want to establish here. And then the fourth one is wait for your ABC. You know, the first 10, 11 minutes, this kind of went higher and showed no pattern. And then over the next 20 or so minutes, let's see, from 8:41 to 8:55, next 14 minutes, it actually did give you a very clean sense of the structure, finding support at the March, I guess it would have been March 5th, the day after, assuming it wasn't a weekend, March 5th highs, but also this ABC structure, which also showed up on a 2-minute. Same thing on a 2-minute, you got an inside bar. The only difference on a 2-minute would be that your risk bar would have been higher, so your multiples would have been lower. Same thing on a 3-minute. On a 5-minute, I don't know if we had 2 swings or 1 swing. It was just 1 swing on a 5-minute. So that's how we broke down Tesla. And, you know, this is stuff that we call live in our Discord channel. If you're interested in that, there'll be a link in the description to the video. But really, this is all technical analysis is. There's no magic. There's no holy grail. There's a pattern called the Holy Grail, but you know what I mean. There's no Holy Grail. It's blocking and tackling. It's having a higher time frame thesis. That is that with a gap of this size, we're going to get continuation, right? I mean, the only reason the gap was this size is shorts are getting burned. You know, options dynamics are in play. Things that would keep it continuing. So once you have that, use your 1-minute ABC or 2-minute, 3-minute, whatever shorter time frame pattern to enter, and the significant levels from previous from March 4th, which is the price range that we were getting back into after never having touched that range since March 4th, proved to be significant. So take those multiple pieces and you can apply it to a variety of situations. Here, I was just applying it to Tesla because of the size of the gap that it had this morning. So anyway, if you like this kind of education, join our Discord. Ask me questions. I'm happy to answer questions about them.